My capstone research question is, how effective is 21st century skills teaching on native Chinese learning? The reasons I chose this question are, first, I think it's important, especially in this globalization world, when our students grow up, when they graduate. It's so important for them to have these skills to survive. And also, I think in China, most of the teachings are still traditional. It's teacher-centered. And so it's important for us to know and to apply these skills in our teaching. And also, I was thinking if this 21st century skills teaching is helpful for students' academic learning. I was not sure. I think it is helpful, but I want to improve. I want to prove it. I want to have some experiments to prove if it's helpful. So in my literature review, I covered 4 main topics. The first one is about the challenges that education faced in globalization. Like our education has to equip our students to be able to survive in this world when they grow up, when they graduate, to face the society. And the second topic is about the 21st century skills framework. So what is 21st century skills? And the third topic is about the importance of learning 21st century skills in globalization. Like if 21st century skills can equip our students to survive. And why we have to learn it. And also the last one is about, I want to know if Chinese students need to learn 21st century skills or not. And also if the teaching is effective for Chinese students. I did this research in my school. It's a private school in China, and I teach 3 classes. It's about 26 or 27 students in each class. So in total, it's about 85 students. And the methods I used here is first I did experiments in these 3 classes. Actually, class A is the best, and then class C is the worst, based on our information test. So I applied traditional teaching and also 21st century skills teaching in different classes, and I want to know if these teachings are helpful or not to different groups. And also I used the questions in my kind of assessment, and then also data analysis to help me to know these questions and to prove my hypothesis. The challenges in carrying out the research is, first is my limitation of understanding 21st century skills. I just know these theories. Actually, I didn't know them very well. And so that could be my challenge when I try to apply these 21st century skills teaching. And also, it's just 3 classes. It's small group. And I did the experimenting within 2 weeks. So it's a short time. all these are my challenges, and I did it by myself. So yeah, I think it's main challenge. So in my first experiment, I taught my students about plural noun. In class A, the best class, I taught them in traditional way, teacher-centered way. I just told them the answers, and then they copied my answers. And then in class B and class C, I tried to apply critical thinking. And we talk about plural noun, and then I give them time to think and to find the rules of different plural noun. And I encourage them to discuss in groups and to find the rules. And also we compare and contrast the different forms. So in this way, based on these different teachings, and we had the same assessment. And then based on this assessment data, we can tell that Class B and Class C actually did a better job than Class A. So in Class A, for the whole week, I taught them in traditional way. And in Class B, they had some kind of 21st century skills learning. And in Class C, they had more exposures of 21st century skills. And this the second assessment is a combination of vocabulary testing and also open questions. So it's based on the data analysis, it's obvious that for the open questions and also for the questions that need them to compare and contrast, in Class C, they did a much better job than Class B and Class C. That really surprised me. I never expected such a big difference. For example, elaborate in this part, Class C, in their class, half students can give me elaborate answers. It's not easy for them as first graders, and it's the sum of Class A and Class B. So that really surprised me. My third assessment is about spelling test. This requires the students to write down the words that they need to master. And this was taught by my partner. I think her teaching is kind of a combination of traditional way and also kind of student-centered. She taught them about these words, and also she used some games to help them to know these words and to use these words. She played some games. So she taught the three classes in the same way. And based on the data analysis, there's no big difference here. So the last assessment is about the comprehension of the story. It's called Families Around the World. It was taught by my partner. She taught three classes in the same way. As I said, Class A was the best, either on behaviors and academic learning, and Class C was the lowest one. However, since in the past 2 weeks, Class C, they had more exposures of the critical thinking. They have more practice on these open questions. So based on the data analysis, we can tell there's no big difference between Class A and Class C. So it means that these 21st century skills teaching are effective for these students. So based on these assessments and also observations, I found that 21st century skills are important and effective to strengthen the students' academic learning. And also, based on the observation, I found that even Class C was the lowest one, especially on behaviors. But when we apply these 21st century skills, when we have this student-centered teaching, it's helpful for the classroom management. The students are more interested in this kind of thinking and discussion and group work. So for future work, I will practice more of these 21st century skills, like cooperative work, to practice the students' communication, collaboration, creation, and their critical thinking. And I will try to bring more like technology learning in my class. And I also wish my school could provide more training about these skills, like for not only for me but also for more like it's whole school training for these teachers, because it's so important to apply these skills in our teaching. And today I learned that my school is thinking of applying to learn IB program and also these PBL programs, and maybe they plan to apply these to different subjects, and that is great. So yeah, I wish and I hope that I believe that will be helpful for our school.